Decision Day is underway as Chicago Fire pays a visit to NYCFC. Neither NYCFC nor Chicago Fire will make the MLS Cup playoffs, and so this is the end of the road.
Away we go, under the pulsating New York City lights.
With delivery shots, oh, what a goal! Keaton Parks with a bullet of a header.
He just needs one touch to get it out of his feet, and then left foot hits this beautifully.
In towards goal! Oh! How about that?
Justin Hack! What a goal for New York City FC! With his first career goal!
Is it to Fernandez? That is spectacular! Pure magic from the 19-year-old Julian Fernandez.
Welcome back. We are continuing our MLS season previews. Today we're looking at NYCFC, who didn't have a great 2023. They finished 11th in the Eastern Conference. They were 10 points off that playoff line. The 7th straight playoff berth streak was snapped with that miss. They only scored 35 goals in 34 matches, which isn't good.
A great rate.
It's not great. They had a 12-match winless streak from April to June. I will say they only lost one of their last 9 matches, so they ended the season on a more positive note, but it left a lot to be desired, and we've got Alexis Guerrero sitting here at this desk, who is a staunch NYCFC supporter for you, Alexis. Having watched this team since its inception, where did they fall short most last year?
I would say from minute 0 to minute 90.
Yeah.
This was unfortunate. We were outside of the first season. We were used to NYCFC being a part of the playoff structure and picture. This season did not pan out, and I think primarily what the fans recognized was a serious drop in form. 2021, they win MLS Cup. I don't know if you remember. Revs were the best team in the league, I think, in history, and yet you lost in the playoffs.
Tati Castellanos,
yes. Yeah. I was there. It was wild. It was crazy. So that was a big moment for us. Beating the Revs was a big moment. But I think when you see what happens after that, 55 points, you finish in 3rd the next season, you're like, okay, we're still sort of pushing forward as a team. But what we need to do is bring in other players to get you back to that level, break through from 3rd to 1st. And then what happens is a complete drop. You finish in 11th. You finish with 41 points instead of 55. You only have 9 wins on the season. It was an absolutely atrocious season. And for Nick Cushing, there was a lot of questions as to whether he was the right person to keep that club moving forward and to push that envelope. Coming in as an assistant under Ronnie Dyla, who came in and won MLS Cup in their first season in a wonderful season, you think, okay, there's someone who can keep that status sort of quo going, has a connection to City Football Group, maybe get in some of the pieces. All of a sudden, you don't bring in a bunch of players. You look really inept offensively. As far as they finished scoring well below their expected goals, their expected points, they finished well below. So they're not even playing up to the standard, which brings into a lot of questions on the coaching side. But here's the positive. Some of the needs that were needed. You needed a left winger and you needed a left back. Both of those positions have been filled in the transfer market. In particular, I'd like to bring up Agustin Ojeda, who comes in from Racing Club. Big fee, $7.2 million.
It's a big fee for a young kid who, in the grand scheme of things, hasn't played that much. He's a pretty important piece for Racing in last semester, but his only regular minutes of football, he's 19.
Well, here's the thing. He's a left winger who can also play right wing. He's very attack minded. He likes to get touches in the box, which is a big thing for NYCFC. In fact, they were middle of the pack. They were 16th in touches in the box at 21.35, which is something that they really need to lift up. Obviously, they bring in Hannes Wolf from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Another big signing, free transfer.
Is he coming off of injury, though?
He's actually technically still injured at this moment. I think he's listed as injured or doubtful until the end of the month, which obviously we have a little bit of time before the season starts. So here's what I'm looking at. You brought in the players you need. Some of the heart and soul. Alfredo Morales leaves.
Yeah.
I think willed you the moment he comes in from Hertha, wills you into the MLS Cup final, became the heart and soul, became the goon on the team, which I think is important. So you're creating, the areas that you had needs. You're finding those players. You're putting pieces together. You have a strong captain in a James Sands, who I believe in, who I think is a great defensive midfielder. Laugh all you want, Charlie. I think is someone who can, especially in a league like MLS, can propel you forward. Yeah. Homegrown kid. Feels like we have everything. The one piece that we're still missing is a goal scorer. I still think it was something we didn't have last season. Thales Magno has told you he doesn't want to play the striker. He was put in at the striker position, and he looked really uncomfortable. Get him back on the wing. Maxi Morales gets healthy, can provide the number 10. Where will we find the goals?
What is a bigger priority, a new head coach or a goal scorer?
I think,
which one would you address first?
It's really difficult, and I'm going to upset a lot of NYCFC fans, but I don't think you can rate Nick Cushing on last season.
Okay.
Regardless of the fact that they finished below expected points, they finished below their expected goals, it tells you that there's obviously a bit of an issue there. For me, he didn't have any pieces to work with. Now he has the pieces. They never
replaced Tati Castellanos.
Absolutely not. Golden Boot winner.
Yes.
So, look, I don't know if Mounsef Bakrar is that guy, but he's going to be probably starting at the top, at the 9. Now that he has the pieces he needs, let me see what happens.
Okay.
Look, we're going to pull up his projected 11 here. Hannes Wolf, you've got James Sands. Keaton Parks is going to be another essential piece. Can he get a bit more into the attack? He's been a nice piece. He's obviously signed a contract extension. Defensively, we were very stout. I believe your expected goals against in the 90 minutes.
Defensively, they were good.
They were very good defensively. All we simply need is moving forward, going forward. Can we fix that? If Thales Magno, Hannes Wolf, Mounsef Bakrar, Santi Rodriguez, maybe Maxi Morales comes in and helps. If those pieces come together, we're looking at a team that should be back in the playoffs. I'm not sure this is an MLS Cup winning team, at least not the way they're structured just yet. And that's a real shame.
Charlie has been making all kinds of faces.
No,
Alexis was speaking.
I applaud a devout supporter.
I think I was pretty unbiased.
Sticking to the positives.
I mean, fair.
In your mind, in your reality, you're a manager. And you can't get the most out of Thales Magno. That doesn't fall on the manager, that falls on the player. That you're playing him out of position when he's shown how good he can be and what an asset he can be in a position when you have a striker like Tati Castellanos. That's not the manager's problem. When you can't score goals.
Can you find me a manager that has gotten the best out of Thales Magno?
Was he not playing well with Santi Rodriguez and Tati Castellanos on the pitch? Was he not an impact player?
Well, at the point where he was a constant starter and was constantly getting results?
Where he's causing problems for the opposition.
I think he did that even when he wasn't scoring goals.
He has been performed extremely below his quality last season.
Absolutely.
And that falls on the manager.
You're not saying
you have Santi Rodriguez, who has 5 goals and assists, in my opinion, one of the best attacking players in Major League Soccer. And you're telling me you can only score 35 goals in a season? That's not the manager's problem to get the most out of the players that he has to score
collectively, New York went from being a championship team within 2 seasons to really being
one of the most underwhelming teams in Major League Soccer.
Last season.
I wouldn't say irrelevant, but they were absolutely very underwhelming, and they weren't playing up to their standard. But you're saying up to their quality. I think what you're really saying is Thales Magno isn't playing up to his potential, and that's something I think every one of his coaches, every one of the fans, and everyone who analyzes his sport would agree with you, including me. He's not playing up to his potential, but we're asking him to reach that potential. Nick Cushing hasn't gotten the best out of him. Absolutely.
So that's the manager.
Not a question, but that's a line of other coaches. I don't think Ronnie Diallo got the best out of him either, because he has such extreme potential. He hasn't even found what his position is yet. They're not sure if he's a winger, if he's a midfielder, if he's an attacking midfielder. He's very Brazilian in the fact that he wants to get the ball in midfield and he wants to dribble forward and take a shot. He wants to break down defenses. That doesn't fit into the way City Football Group wants NYCFC to play.
If Nick Cushing wasn't judged based on last season, he's going to be judged at least the first half of the season.
Without a doubt.
His seat is scorching.
It's not scorching.
It's scorching
It's
hot.
not scorching, but it's hot.
It needs
for sure.
to be. It needs to be.
And he would admit to that.
Completely different look.
It's been
He would
so
agree to that.
underwhelming. When you're talking about 2021 and Tati Castellanos.
I was just going to say, if Nick Cushing and Tati, would they be a playoff contender? Yeah,
of course. That's the one piece they need.
Yeah.
Yes, but he's not there, and they didn't have the pieces, and they
never replaced him.
And they brought back an older Maxi Morales who gets injured immediately as he steps on the pitch. The pieces that they needed, they didn't bring back when they attempted to. There was injury.
All I have to say is, from a style perspective, it's been poor to watch.
Again,
it's been poor to watch.
There's better pieces now,
and that for me is the manager.
Alexis, what's realistic
style of play has been bad
for NYCFC this season?
I think they can find a way to make it out of the first round of the playoffs, especially since pretty much 90%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, 90% of the league gets in the playoffs at this point.
Well, that's the thing. They were 2 points off the playoffs, as bad as they were last year.
Yeah.
It was tough to watch New York City FC play. And they're so good at home. On the road, they had one win. They were the worst team on the road. Atrocious. So can they be a little bit better on the road? I would expect. But from a style of play, they need to develop something because it was so bad last year. Given the players that they have, it was horrible.
Again, given the players they had, they brought in a couple new players. They got rid of some of the older players. Let's see what happens.
Godspeed, Alexis.
I mean, but they were good defensively.
They were good defensively. That's absolutely true.
We got something.
No.
Chicago Fire.
They only shipped 39
than
goals.
New York City FC.
Only scored 35.
No.
Okay.
No.